crazy thing is that before today, I played Xbox Cloud solely on vroom, vroom, vroom. Before today, I played Xbox Cloud on my backbone, right? The backbone created for Xbox. But today, Samsung and Xbox partnered to launch Xbox Cloud on the new 2022 Samsung televisions. But for the first time, a major player between Xbox, Nintendo, and PlayStation are now on a streaming platform where a lot of people can have it, right? And so I'm stumbling around on this because of how exciting I am stumbling on this because of how excited I am for this. So there's a lot to cover. Let's jump into Xbox Cloud on Samsung, but not just Xbox Cloud. They kind of left off the fact that you can play other platforms there as well. So let's jump into it. Okay, so the first time that you come to the home page, you're actually going to be greeted with this sponsored video. It just gives you a sneak peek on the gaming hub and kind of some of the things that you can expect from the product. Now, I've already used this, and so you're not seeing what the standard layout is when you first get there, but the standard layout when you get there is going to show up with the tutorials there. The different tutorials will help you understand the Samsung Gaming Hub. And so the Getting Started feature is a video that will show you a little bit about the hub. It's going to highlight different portions of the hub and what you need to do to get going. It talks about how you can connect your controllers. It talks about how you can play either using your controller or you can play using the remote control, but it goes over the basics. The other one that they have is how to access games. Now, how to access games will talk to you about different ways to play. Now, if you have a console connected, you can play, of course, using your console. But if you're streaming, then it goes over your options for streaming. Now, streaming is based on your Wi-Fi connection, and I'll just keep going here while I talk a little bit about this. Streaming is based on your Wi-Fi connection and kind of how strong your signal is. Your experience is going to be heavily impacted by the bandwidth of your network, the type of Wi-Fi connection that you have. The best setup is probably going to be an Ethernet cable to the back of the television that you're using. Keep in mind that this will be good on all Samsung 2022 models to start, the QLED 90 series. So I'm sure it's going to touch more televisions in the future. But the interesting thing is that it's just not an Xbox controller. As you saw earlier, there are other platforms on the Samsung Gaming Hub that, of course, they haven't talked about. We focused on the Xbox Cloud, but there are other platforms. And so the nice thing about this is that you can use the Xbox Series X controller, of course, the One S controller, of course, and the Xbox 360 through USB, but also the Elite, the Xbox Adaptive, DualSense, DualShock 4, Stadia controller, Luna. I haven't even heard of that, Joy-Tron, F7. So it says Logitech. I'm sure that's Logitech, Power A, and the NVIDIA Shield controller. You can see from this chart that it goes over the different controllers and how they connect, but also if they have force feedback. So force feedback more than likely is just going to be Bluetooth. I don't think you'll be able to use the full power of the DualSense. Going back to the tutorial, it talks about how you can use either the Samsung remote that comes with the television or the controller to get around. Let's go back up to the top and from left to right. So you have your controllers. As you can see, I've connected this controller already. It shows you the controller that you have, and you can come to this screen to connect more controllers. As far as audio, you have your TV speaker, receiver, so you can go directly to a receiver, or again, Bluetooth speakerless, and so that's where I'm thinking that you can add a potential headset. Going back to the different applications, as you can see, Xbox, Stadia, Utomic, GeForce Now. I don't think that you can add more, but you can move these around into the order that you want. I'm sure there's a way, but there's not today. So popular games up at top. Now, the one thing to note on this is that it will show you the different games from the different platforms, but you can't click directly on these to start and this is videos. You can't click on these to start the game. When you click these, it will take you to the platform that they're connected to. And so you can note that in the top left corner there is an arrow back. And so if you were to hold B down, you can go back out to the menu in case you launched the wrong game. In case you launched the wrong game. That was loud. This game is kind of bright, so I had to lower the ISO because it was blowing out the camera, but I want you to understand that that blowout was not from the game or the cloud service. It was from how the camera sensor was perceiving the light. And so that's something that we don't talk much about on YouTube, but yeah, you have to make sure that your camera settings are conducive to the environment. So I got all these bright lights on right now to keep this area lit, which is going to mess with the camera lens. And so when we're playing the game, you know, I'll switch it back and forth. And so if you see the light going up and down, it's because I'm adjusting the ISO to make sure that you all are seeing as close to possible, you know, what the picture would look like as far as like what I'm seeing here. And so every time you play on Xbox Cloud, if you have not played it before, as you see, I just played it on my controller. And so now you're seeing where it's updating and syncing the settings there. From there, let's see if you can change video settings. So video settings, and so it changes it. Okay, so we got quality mode. So that's interesting. So you have, it's not giving you your full settings. And again, that's interesting. So it's going to adjust these things for you. So let's go ahead, let's get some gameplay in so you can get an idea of what it is. And so I'm going to stop talking while I run around acting crazy so that you can hear the sound and different things like that. So you can kind of judge if the sound sounds good. Now I have a live microphone sitting on my lapel on my t-shirt, and so you're going to hear the sound as I would hear it sitting back here. Half volume.
Welcome back, Vortex.
So it's moving around pretty snappy. As you can see, it's really responsive. Let me give you some controller. Oh, it's really dark now. But it's moving around really. You can see me pushing the buttons. You can see the screen beyond. It's moving pretty snappy. And so I'll try to put some B-roll in there. But let's do some driving. So as you can see, the quality is pretty good. I would say we're at 2K, so it is responsive. So the last thing that I'm gonna share here is I turn the ISO back up. Again, I'm turning the ISO back and forth due to the brightness of the television. Just want to make sure that you all are seeing a full picture. The nice thing about this is that they ask for feedback at the end of every single game, and you can go in there and you can say user interface. You can select the things that you like about it. Playing anywhere games play instantly, ease of use, quickly resumes play. No game updates needed. Next. And there it is. I mean, this is so fluid. My initial experience and feedback is that this is a great product. I think this is really going to revolutionize gaming. It's going to kind of push things forward into a more server-based gaming environment. Now, you'll always need hardware to really get, you know, like 4K 120 or 8K 30. Like, to get those type of numbers, there always has to be a physical hardware. You know, you just can't stream that type of performance. Not today anyway. In the future, maybe, we will see. But I'm so surprised of how quiet the release was today, and that not more people are talking about how much of an impact this is going to have on gaming. And so, are you going to be using this? Do you already use this? Do you see this as a big shakeup, or are you kind of just meh about it? So I'm going to leave you with that. As always, stay cozy in that crazy world, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.